Oh, pilots and ground crew, welcome back to my channel. Well, I know I said I wasn't going to do anything else about the Tango 2 until I've had a maiden flight and then give you my initial impressions. However, I have been asked by Mark, actually, of Mark and Faye. He wanted to know how easy it is to set up and what are the settings and stuff like that. So rather than trying to record the screen, because you do get a lot of flickering on the screen, I've got the PDF manual, and I'm going to go through it step by step, and it's really easy. Most of it, right, you can skip over because you don't need to set it up. Right, some of the stuff, more advanced pilots like to play with things. Right, I'm going to show you how to get a model into the air and it'll fly safely. Okay, that's the setup I'm going to show you, not all the little tweaks and functions and stuff, just how to get a model set up, how to get the radio set up, and how to get crossfire set up, right? And it's all three in one, and it's easy. Okay then, right, one last thing I'll say, it's running OpenTX. If you don't know anything about OpenTX, I recommend you go watch some playlists and learn about it. That's all I can say really. Learn about OpenTX first, and then come back, or better still, watch this, then go learn about OpenTX. Okay then, pilots and ground crew, let's jump onto the screen. The PDF I'll leave in the description so you can download it yourself and take your time and go through it. But let's get onto the screen now and I'll talk you through the setup, and it really is simple. TBS has set most of it up for you. Okay then, to the screen. Alright then, pilots, let's set up your radio. Like I said, these are the most basic settings you need to do to get yourself into the air, right? Just keeping it super basic, super simple, right? So you turn your radio on, goes without saying, and you're on your main menu page. Right, press and hold your menu button, which is your center switch button, for a couple of seconds or so. Then this radio setup page will appear. Now you don't have to adjust anything on here. If you want to change the date and the time, that's fine. All you do is, using your scroll wheel, hover over the date or the time, click enter, and that'll activate it. Then use the scroll wheel again to change the date and the time. Click enter when you've finished. Okay, but you don't need to do that, it's an option. Right, now here, using the scroll wheel, scroll down. Right, now you don't need to adjust anything on there. Now as you keep scrolling down on your scroll wheel, you're still on your radio setup. You don't need to touch anything on here. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. Right, like your volume switches, I'll just go up one. Your main volume switch, you know, when you turn it on and you hear welcome to Tango 2 or something, this is your main volume to turn it up or turn it down, but you don't have to touch any of these. Keep using your scroll wheel and scrolling down and scrolling down. All this stuff you do not have to touch at all, right? It's not a necessity to get you into the air. Right, now I know a lot of you more experienced pilots will say, well, I usually change this or I change that. Yeah, right, but this is to brand new-ish pilot, right, and definitely new to the Tango 2, want to get it ready and get it into the air. Right, you're still on the same thing, scrolling down, and this is your bottom. Right, get to this part, it'll just tell you your modes and stuff, but you don't need to touch it. Just come and keep going. Now go into page 2. Now that's where you'd actually click the button that says page, and it will go to this page here. Right, your crossfire, firmware functions and stuff. You don't have to do anything on that page either. Right, it's not a necessity to get you into the air. Right, then click your page button again, and that'll bring you to page 3, global functions. Once again, you don't have to do anything on that, so we're keeping it simple. Click your page button again, bring you to hardware. Once again, you don't have to touch that. Using the scroll wheel, you can scroll down to see a bit more of it here. Look, don't have to touch anything at this point. Click your page button again and it brings you to your version. Right, and once again, you don't have to click anything, touch anything. So then it's exit and back to the main menu. Once it, oh no, it isn't. There's one more page. As you're scrolling down, next page is calibration. Now, your Tango 2 should be calibrated. Mine was calibrated perfectly. However, if yours needs to be calibrated, I'll just remove that picture for a second. It's simple, right? Enter, line up, just follow the on-screen instructions. That really is simple. That really is simple stuff, right? And then back to main menu, or back to the menu. Back to the menu. And right then, we're back at the main menu screen now, right? And you want to set up a model. Right, this is as simple as simplicity itself. Click the enter key, hold it for a couple of seconds, right, and you'll come into your model menu. Right, forget that just for a second. I'll jump to here actually, because this is more like what you'll see. Right, you'll select a new model, right, because you want to set one up. I think there was only one of these in mind, but whatever. You want to set a model up the way you want it. So let's select model 1 and click enter. Alright, then you'll get here select model, create a new model, blah 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 blah. Well, you want to click enter on select model because you're selecting your very first model. Okay, and then click enter. Oh, then it will come to here, this page here, after you've clicked enter. Now you're going to choose a plane, a delta, or a multi. Well, we're dealing with multi rotors, so using your scroll wheel, highlight multi and click enter. Okay, now you're just about done here. Just click enter again, and enter to confirm. Okay, and that's it. That's it. Your model's ready. You can go into your model from that beginning part again at any point you want and change the name and stuff, but the model itself is set up. It's all done for you. It's all set up, all ready to go. Right, your throttle, your aileron, your rudder, your elevator, that's all set up, ready to go. Well, it says there, ready to go. Didn't notice that. Right, now once again, back to the main menu. Right, now here, setting up the main menu. Now, I've already mentioned, well, I won't get confusing here. Alright, I don't want to get confusing. Alright, click your main menu button once. This page will pop up here. Then click your enter button. And I'm going to get rid of that. Then this page will pop up. Now you want to select Tango 2 XF because we're doing the crossfire setup now. Okay, you've done your radio, you've done your model, now we're doing the crossfire setup. Right, so select Tango 2 XF, ignore that completely, the Wi-Fi. Right, so Tango 2 XF, and click on the enter key once again, and you'll come to this page. Now, set your failsafe and bind, completely ignore until you've got a quad ready to set up. If you already have, well, we'll come back to that because I don't want to get thrown off topic, right? But setting your failsafe and a bind is, we're just setting up the radio at this point, okay? I don't want to get confused, people. We're just setting up the radio, nothing else. We can come back to that once you've got a quad ready, okay? Right, general region, open. Leave that on open. Do not change that. You can change, if you click on it and go into it, you can change it to EU, USA, or Australia, or whatever, right? Don't touch it. Leave it on open. For the simple reason, let's say you're in the UK and you click on UK, it will lock you in the UK and it will lock your max power to 25 milliwatts. And it's locked in, and I don't think there's any way of getting out of it again. Alright, it's locked in at 25 milliwatts. Now, I know in the UK you're only allowed to fly at 25 milliwatts, but you could take your transmitter on holiday to America and you want to fly over there and boost up the power. Right, or you could be a lawbreaker and want to fly at a higher milliwattage for more distance. But a little bit of information, leave that on open. And if you do have that set at 25 milliwatts, which is the UK legal requirement, EU actually legal requirement, you'll still get a couple of miles, so depending on where you're flying. Now this will go from 25 milliwatts, right, to 100 to 250 milliwatts. Now they say that's about 30 kilometers, which is about 10,000 feet. I don't know, and I won't be doing a range test for 10,000 feet. Okay, but if you're in the UK or the EU, you should have that on 25. Alright, if you want to put it up higher, that's up to you. Okay, so leave that on open and set your power to whatever you want. Alright, if you're in the EU, obviously with this, you're just using your scroll wheel to scroll down, click enter. Like I said, don't touch the open bit, so use your scroll wheel, click enter to change that, and then use your scroll wheel. Now here, your frequency, right? If you're in the UK or the EU, have it set to 868. That's super important. If it's not on 868 and you're in the UK or the EU, change it. Alright, make sure it's on 868 megahertz. Alright, because, and this is for your benefit, you will get loads of interference. Alright, if not. If you have it set to 915 like in America, you'll get loads of interference. So EU and the UK, because we're not in the EU anymore, EU and the UK wants to be set at 868. Sorry to all the people who live in the EU who watch this, I apologise, I didn't mean to laugh. I love France, I love Germany, I love Switzerland. I'm not going to keep going. Right, anyhow then, using your scroll wheel, keep scrolling down, you don't need to change anything else. Okay, right, back to the main menu again. So you've exited, right, and you've come back to your main menu again. Now we're going to set up your OpenTX basically. And as I said, if you've never used OpenTX, I recommend you go watch some videos by anybody showing you how to use OpenTX. It's not difficult, right? Not difficult at all. Right, moving on then. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll leave a link to one of my videos showing you how to set up a model on the Nevada transmitter, right, using OpenTX. For the simple reason is you'll set it up exactly the same way as on here. Alright, so I'll leave a link. I'll tell you what, I'll leave a card in the top corner now. Alright, watch that and that'll give you a gist of how to set up OpenTX. So you're back at your main menu page then. Right, click your menu button, right, and then click the page button and you'll come to here. Right, setup. Using your scroll wheel, right, say model name, you can click on that and change it there. Okay, right, click enter. Using your scroll wheel, changing the letters and stuff like that, you'll figure that out. That's simple stuff. Okay, right, using your scroll wheel, scroll down, because you don't need to touch any of these at all. Just keep scrolling down. Right, you don't need to adjust anything on here, just keep scrolling down. Right, and then click your page button. This is the bottom, you see. Click your page button and we'll go to page 3. Right, because we're into OpenTX now, remember. Right, so this will be very familiar. Right, you won't be using heli, so click your page button again and you're going into your flight modes. Now you need to set up, minimum of a three position switch. Really, you can use a 2 position switch for your flight modes. Right, I suppose you could use a 1, but this is where you'd set up your flight modes. Right, I'm not going to show you or tell you how to do it. Like I said, it's basic OpenTX, so you'll already know. Right, okay. Right, that's page 4, so click your page button again and it will bring you, oh no, sorry, bloody hell, they always make life difficult for me, don't they? Right, if you're scrolling down, this is the next bit you'll see in your flight modes as you're scrolling down. Okay, you don't need to touch anything. So now click your page button and you'll come to page 5. Your inputs, this bit's set up for you, your rudder elevator, throttle aileron, it's all set up for you. you go in on whichever channel you want to use, but you'll want an arm, a buzzer and a mode. Okay, like I said, all still basic OpenTX settings. Right, all you do to set you basically hit your enter button. Right, it will come up and it will say edit, just like normal OpenTX. Click edit and you go in and you set whichever switch you want for your arm. Okay, you do the same for your buzzer, same for your mode. Basic OpenTX once again. Right, click your page button and we've come to your mixers. Exactly the same, right, as OpenTX, so I'm not going to discuss it. Simple stuff. And then your outputs. Now if you're reasonably new to OpenTX, right, don't get confused with the word output. Right, it's just your endpoints adjustments, right, and your sub trims and things like that. It says sub trims there, but yeah, so outputs is really like your endpoint adjustments if you're coming off helis and stuff. Okay, click on it, open it up, and it's just the same as OpenTX once again. Very straightforward. Click your page button again. Curves, you're keeping it simple, you won't need to touch. Click your page button again. Logical switch. On a little transmitter like this, you're not going to mess about with that, so click your page button again. Special functions, once again, on a little transmitter like this, you're not going to mess, so click your page button again. Custom scripts, click your page button. You see, there's hardly nothing to do. Right, page there, telemetry screen. Now when you get here, this is when you're setting up your telemetry. Well, you're not setting up your telemetry, that's a complete lie. Right, but this is your telemetry screen where you'll get your information. Once again, exactly the same as standard OpenTX, so I'm not even going to talk about it. Right, sorry, where are we here? Page 12, yeah, scroll down on this, should have guessed that. Using your scroll wheel, you come down, add new sensors, delete sensors, exactly the same as your basic OpenTX. Okay, right, click your page button again and you're at your display screen. You do not have to mess about with that either, and then exit, and that is your OpenTX setup, and you're all basically ready to go. Right, now your Tango 2, should we mention, yeah, we'll cover binding quickly. Right, we'll cover binding quickly. Right, I will assume you're using the TBS Nano, right? Because, well, I say assume, that's the one I'm using, and well, it's very straightforward, right? You've got your TBS Nano wired into your drone, right? Basically, power up your quad, okay? And your bind button on your TBS Nano, just press it once. Then go into your radio, right? Go back to this page. Remember how we got here? Right. Menu, enter, and select Tango 2 XF. Okay, right near the beginning we covered that. And then click bind. Right, now when you click bind, you don't have to touch it anymore at this point. It will read, it will lock onto it, and then it will say upgrade. I wonder if it's on here. No, it will ask you if you want to upgrade the firmware, which you do, and it does it all over the airways, all automatic for you. Just click enter once again and leave it. You'll actually see a little dial up here, so when it's downloading it'll say 10%, 15%, and all the way up. Once it's 100% you come out of it, and not only are you bound up, your receivers being flashed and got all the latest stuff on, and then exit, and that's how you bind it. It really is simple. It really is very, very simple. Alright, I've never used Crossfire in my life, and I figured this out in seconds. Right, really simple binding with a Crossfire. Okay, the failsafe. Right, you can't set up failsafe until you've got a quad plugged in. Goes without saying. Once again, piece of pay. Click the button, follow the on-screen instructions, and the on-screen instructions are actually click enter, and that's it. And then it does it for you. Right, this is just, I'll tell you what, I'll just hide that picture so you can see this better. This, you can basically start to go through this by yourself, and I think I'll come to the end of the video. This is just information about your little light at the bottom of your transmitter here. Right, what it means. Right, when you're charging, the light's on red. When it's fully charged, the light changes to green. Right, if you want to know your radio's bound up properly, right, if the light here is on a solid green, it's fully bound to your fully bound to your quad. You can read the rest of that yourself. Let's just see a bit of information about scroll. No, I think that's everything covered. This is how to strip it down. Yeah, I'm not going to go into anything else. That covers everything, all the basics of setting up your radio and the work. So there you go then. I'm going to leave it there. I'll tell you what, I've got nothing else to say. Covered everything. We've got your radio fully set up now. Right, most of the time you're just going to be using the menu button and the page button, right, and the enter button. But no, that's it all done. So PDFs at the bottom in the description, so take a look. And I'll leave it there then, pilots and ground crew. If there's any questions, feel free to ask. But as I said in me unboxing of this, I'd never ever used TBS Crossfire in my life. And I managed to figure this out real easy because 90% of it's done for you. And as for the actual radio setup and your model setup, it's OpenTX. So if you've been using that, you'll just sail through it. It really is simple. Really is simple. But if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. Okay then, pilots and ground crew, thanks for watching. Hope this helps, and cheers.